Today is game day. Here's week 5 in high school football, and welcome to the Missouri Sports Network. And it's Friday Night Live. My name is Guy Newcomb, the Scoreboard guy. I'll be alongside here for the next hour, at least as long as I don't spill any more iced tea on the board like I did last week. But certainly glad that you tuned in wherever you may be listening from. Number one, if you're at a game that's still going on, there are still some games in progress. If you're at a game that's still going on, you can shoot us a message. If you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, you can send us a message of where you are and what the score is there. We'll update them as we go along. We'll run through the scores here that we have at this point. And a lot of great action going on right now as the game, Republic and Joplin game, has just went final. Republic hangs on and wins 49-38, but that game has just gone final as they're just now lining up to shake hands. But a back and forth game for certain. Republic comes out on top. So here's the Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks Friday night football scoreboard for week 5, presented by Iona Laborers Local 663, who remind us, hey, drive safely in those work zones. Those folks want to go home to their families as well. From last night, Hazelwood East defeats Parkway North 7-0. It was Jefferson over Bayless 35-26. Kickapoo defeats Glendale 27-14. Ava over Salem 60-18. Rockport defeats South Holt 68-20, and Platte Valley 56, Tarkio 26. On the scoreboard from tonight, brought to you by Bambino's. Bambino's Italian Cafe at East Battlefield and Lone Pines, the home of the Quarterback Club. Come join us. Doors open at 11 o'clock. Food is served right around 11:30, and the coaches speak. Coaches begin speaking at noon. So come by and see. Check on our Twitter account to see what coaches are going to be there. And I've got a little bit of audio problems, I think, again. So we'll switch up and see if that helps a little bit there. And I do apologize. But anyway, scores from tonight brought to you by Bambino's Italian Cafe. In 8-man football was Albany over North Andrew 38-20. Drexel defeats Rich Hill 58-22. It was Lockwood 59-12 over Osceola. Page 2 brought to you by Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks. Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks sponsoring our Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks Athletes of the Week. Go to our YouTube page and subscribe, and you'll see when those Athletes of the Week come out. We had 3 today. 2 volleyball young ladies and a cross-country runner. It was Bowling Green over Louisiana 59-0. Mountain Grove defeats Kabul 54-0. It was Gateway over Crystal City 41-0. Elsewhere, it was Polo defeating Milan 10-7. On page 2, brought to you by Central Bank of the Ozarks, also sponsoring the Springfield Area Quarterback Club. Stockton defeats Springfield Central 34-7. Forsyth over Springfield Catholic 48-9. And we will be hearing from Chris Conley, head football coach at Forsyth, at 10 o'clock. North Callaway over Palmyra 18-12. Perryville defeats Grandview 32-0. It was Warsaw 42-0 over Versailles. And Warsaw coach, head coach Ryan Boyer, will be joining us here in about 5 or 10 minutes. Elsewhere, Seneca defeats Aurora 56-14. Blair Oaks over Boonville 62-0. It was Nevada defeating East Newton 28-6. 28-7. That was a 7-6 game at halftime with East Newton on top. Fredericktown shuts out Potosi 12-0. It was St. Clair over Union 41-7. St. Pius X defeats Chillicothe 64-0. Page 4 brought to you by Great Southern Bank. Great Southern Bank, with more than 100 locations in 6 states. Great Southern Bank, understanding where it really matters. Member FDIC. It was Kearney over North Kansas City 43-6. Green Valley defeats Raytown South 47-0. TW Prep forfeits yet again to Soldan, so 13-0, I believe there. Pleasant Hill defeats Warrenburg 21-14. It was Camdenton shutting out Battle 20-0. Cape Central shuts out St. Dominic 47-0. And we are joined now by the Liberty North head coach, Andy Learman. Coach Learman, thanks for joining us.
Hey, God, thanks for having me.
Coach, you get a big win tonight. Tell us a little bit about the victory.
Yeah, we really played well tonight. I was extremely happy with our guys. We got a big homecoming win over Ray Peck, and we just kind of came out early and often and played really, really well. I mean, we got some 3 and outs. I don't think they got a first down until maybe late in the third quarter. And so we kind of got on them early and were able to score on some early drives and get up big and really capitalize on some opportunities that we haven't done very well in the past couple of weeks. So I was just really excited about seeing our guys execute well tonight and come out and play really well.
Now, was this homecoming?
This was homecoming, yes, sir.
Defensively, you've got to be just really proud of that group with what they were able to do today.
Yeah, we actually had a couple starters out tonight, so I was really extremely proud of them. I mean, we had some guys really step in and play well tonight. We started a sophomore, for the first time in the secondary tonight, and he played really well. And so really feel like we kind of added some depth tonight with some guys stepping in and playing well that I feel like can help us down the home stretch here. So, like you and I talked enough, guy, to know that I take a lot of pride in our defense. I didn't think we played very well last week, and the guys, to their credit, took that to heart and really did a good job this week getting ready.
Outside of the guys that were already out, did you come out of the game tonight relatively healthy?
We did, which is a blessing because we needed to. We had 4 starters out tonight, and then we had 2 or 3 other guys who were pretty banged up that actually kind of gutted it out tonight. So thankful we got to get healthy down this home stretch. We're gonna have a shot.
They've got you're at Staley next week. What do you know about Staley?
They're getting better. I know that. I mean, I know their scores are getting a little tighter each and every week. I'm not sure how they did tonight, but they've got a new coach over there, and a new staff, and got some momentum, and they're excited about what's going on. They're in our conference, like we've talked. I mean, there's just not a whole lot of cupcakes. I mean, you're not going to get a team that's going to feel like you really just go into that week thinking you're going to get a big win. And so we fully expect to have a ball game next week, and our guys aren't playing well enough yet to really feel like we're comfortable in saying we're going to play well ourselves. And so we got to get more consistent on our end and just get ready to go and worry about what the weeds in our garden, so to speak.
At what point during the season here, we're basically at the midway point, at what point do coaches maybe start taking a sneak peek at the district standings to try and maybe get a home game, or at what point do you kind of maybe look at that?
Yeah, if we're all telling you the truth, we're probably all peeking at it every week. I think you're looking at it every week. I mean, you're kind of seeing where everybody's at, where it's going to kind of fall. And are you going to have a shot at a home game, or what seed you're going to look at? And of course, there's all kinds of stuff that goes into that. But I mean, we're taking a peek at it, but guy, we're really just kind of honestly we're focused on the next week, right? Very cliche, but I mean, where we're at right now with some younger guys that are stepping in and learning to play and kind of understanding the expectation of what it looks like. That's really where we got to focus on.
Outstanding. Well, Coach, at this point of the season, what do you feel like you're doing really well, and what are some things in areas where, as a coach, maybe there's some emphasis to kind of tighten that up a little bit?
Yeah, I think our kicking game has been tremendous all year. We've either been in games that we might have lost 2 games by less than a touchdown each, and our kicking game has been tremendous, whether it's our punt block team or we had a big return tonight. Our field goal kicker, Blue Renfro, is a senior this year, does a tremendous job for us putting in the end zone or kicking field goals. So our kicking game has been outstanding. I think we're really starting to run the ball well right now. We've made some adjustments on the O-line the last couple of weeks, and it's really helped us. And then I think we're playing really good run defense right now. So those pieces, I think, are what we're going to kind of hang our hat on down the rest of the home stretch here. We're going to play good run defense, try to control that passing game, play excellent in the kicking game, and be able to run the football in the playoffs. And so we feel like that could be a recipe for success if we can really get everything going.
Outstanding. Well, Coach Lehrman, as always, I greatly appreciate you being generous with your time. I know it's a big win. It's homecoming. I know guys want us to go out and celebrate this evening. But congratulations and thank you so much for calling in.
Guy, always great to visit with you. Thank you, buddy.
Hey, you bet. Have a great day.
You too.
Coach Andy Lehrman. They're kind enough to join us here as they get a big win over Ray-Peck on homecoming. Defending Class 6 champions, and maybe starting to kind of put it together right now. I believe that makes them 3-2 on the season. A very tough district up there in the Kansas City area. And my phone was recording everything that I just said and sending a text to Mid Buchanan head coach Aaron Fritz. So I've got to get rid of that. So my apologies there. We'll get right back to the scoreboard. You can call it 10-10. So anyway, my apologies there. And we'll get back to the scores. If I can get this to close. All right, it was Nottoway Valley over Mound City, 56-6. In the fourth quarter, 14-14, Pleasant Hill and Warrensburg. And let me refresh this here real quick. You're listening to and watching the Missouri Sports Network at MissouriSportsNetwork.com. You can send us a message on YouTube or Facebook. So Warsaw 42-0 final over Versailles. Savannah defeats Benton 53-6. That's a final. Pleasant Hill defeats Warrensburg 21-14. That's a final. Parkway South over at Northwest 28-27. It was Parkway West shutting out Parkway Central 35-0. It was Osage in the fourth quarter. They lead California 32-7. Liberty North 59-0 over Ray-Peck. We just visited with head coach Andy Lehrman there. In the fourth quarter, Lafayette leads Pattonville 37-0. It has gone final at Kearney as Kearney defeats North Kansas City 4-3-6. Elsewhere, Ladue hangs on and they defeat Hazelwood West 17-13. Marquette over Hazelwood Central 28-6. That's a final. In the fourth quarter, Platte County leads Belton 42-7. We are joined now by Warsaw head football coach Ryan Boyer. Coach Boyer, thanks so much for your time tonight.
Hey, no problem. Can you guys hear me all right?
We can hear you outstanding. Coach, big win tonight over Versailles. Tell us about the ballgame.
We're really stressed for our kids that's coming out and being ready right out of the gate. It was we've been at home for the last 2 weeks, and so it's a conference game. We knew they'd be up for their homecoming. We're really pleased and have a kids preparation work all week, and that's how it came out and executed right from the get-go.
Coach, you get a big win tonight over Versailles. You're coming off of that puts you at 5-0. Tell us a bit about your team and what you're doing really well at this point of the season.
It always starts with our leadership. Our senior leadership. They've a lot of them have a lot of experience, and they just bought into the process. And those underclassmen, they follow right in. And we knew to start the year, we wanted to challenge our team, find out who we were in those first few weeks, saying whether it's wins or losses, but ready to find out the character of us and what we're really about. We're fortunate that on in success, and we've just been able to build off that.
Coach, you give up just one first down tonight, I believe. Talk about the defensive side of the ball, and who are some of the kids that are really standing out for you?
Yeah, we preached it, playing fast, playing physical, and it starts up front on the D line there with Dakota Todd and Trent Downing and Kendall Bagley. Those are 3 senior guys for us, and J.C. Minks and some of these other guys that are underclassmen. They rotate in there and keep them fresh. And for them, I know I like to give them as much credit as possible because we asked them a lot to take on a double team and keep our keep our linebackers free, and they take pride in that. And they're still able to, get some stats in the stat boxes. But then they're at middle, our two middle linebackers, they feed off each other, both at middle linebacker and running back, Josh Harris and Jason Freeze. And then, on the back end of things, they keep it in front. Our outside linebacker, Drake Merle, he's just a heck of a player. He was All-State Kid for us last year, and he's kind of a field general out there. And him and Breckenbridge, Brecken's a true freshman, and they fly around, and they said they big impact guys and really set the edge and keep everything where it needs to be.
Coach, have you been able to stay relatively healthy this year?
Yeah, we have. You get this time of year, you're going to have some dings and things like that. One of our guards, he got down this week, but overall, we know you're going to have that adversity, and that's what we always preach our program. Next man up, and you got to be ready to go. And again, our kids have bought into that, so it's been good. And I know again, the special teams and everything, these are things that don't get talked about a lot or covered. And our kids, our classmen, we always tell them that's your quickest ticket on the field, and they flown around and helped us win in that phase of things too.
And Coach, what point of the season do you kind of start taking a sneak peek at the district standings? Lamar is at the top of it right now, but they lost tonight to Mount Vernon. Stockton already, I think, have gotten in the win side of it. Your win has not been posted yet on the district side, but at what point do you maybe start taking a peek at that and hoping to maybe get a home field advantage?
It's hard not to follow a little bit week to week, but we break our season up into thirds. You get to that first third, which everything's new and fresh. And we always tell the kids, this middle third can sometimes be the most difficult because the news worn off and you're not quite there to that end of the season where you can see the playoffs. So I'd say probably you get into that last third, you start really paying attention to it. But we try our best is to take it 1 week at a time, one step at a time, and make sure we stay focused at the week ahead and stay humble with our success.
Coach, you've got an El Dorado Springs team next week at home. They were 3-1 going into tonight. What do you know about the Bulldogs?
Yeah, Coach Long's done a good job. That's home for him, and he was there for a while and went over to Lamar and came back, and he's done a good job getting a lot of kids out, hasn't playing hard and having success. And any given week you got to be ready, and there'll be another conference opponent, and so do it. They're always plays physical and hard, and we expect nothing less. So we told our kids, we tell them every Friday, you get 24 hours to enjoy this one, and you got to switch gears and get ready for your next one. And so we know it'll be a dogfight, and they'll be ready to go.
Coach, you mentioned a conference match there, and I know there's been so much movement with conferences. Kind of fill the listeners in a little bit on who's in your conference and where you are right now with regards to that.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, a lot of shifting, and unfortunately, I feel like high schools feel like they got to follow suit of colleges, so it can make you get a little interesting on your scheduling. But for us, we didn't have a ton. Buffalo left our conference, and Adrian took their place, and so for us, it goes Adrian, Butler, El Dorado Springs, Sherwood, Versailles, and then ourselves. And as far as our schedule goes, we have El Dorado next week, and then we finish with Butler. So, when you talk goals for your season, that's obviously a big goal for our team, for our seniors, is to win that conference outright. And you have a checklist. You don't get ahead of yourself, but so these next 2 weeks, we know that's something that's big and can kind of help light that fire, keep that fire lit, and the preparation of things.
Very good. Well, Coach, again, visiting with the Coach Ryan Boyer of Warsaw. Coach, I really appreciate you. This is your first visit here on Friday Night Live, the high school scoreboard show on the Missouri Sports Network, and I greatly appreciate that. And Adam Howe for helping kind of set this up, get me your number. And I know I texted you earlier today, but I really appreciate you being part of the show.
Hey, I appreciate you guys having me on. Anytime we could, I say, get a little extra coverage. Maybe tell our kids, they work their tail off, and I love to be able to get their successes out there. So I appreciate you guys taking the time.
You bet, Coach. Hey, best of luck this week, and hopefully we'll get to visit with you here throughout the season. And we have a rule: you have to make 3 appearances to become an official friend of the show. So this is one.
Okay. All right. Well, yep. Well, step 1, we'll check that box.
All right, Coach. Have a great night. God bless, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. Bye.
Coach Ryan Boyer, they're kind enough to join the show here as they've now 5-0 in the season, and they're at El Dorado Spring, and I haven't seen a final yet for Eldo's game tonight, but they were 3-1 going into tonight, into their contest. But and we'll update them here as we go on throughout the show. And hey, go to our YouTube page and like us on. Subscribe on YouTube, and then you'll get all the updates anytime we go live with any show. Mondays is on deck with D-Row and Arch, and then we've got Where Are They Now Wednesdays with Kent Mueller from Playing on Sports. We've got Huddle Up on Thursdays. We've got High School Game Day on Fridays, where we usually kind of unleash our athletes of the week. Eldo did lose. Sarcoxy defeats El Dorado Springs 50-35 tonight. So that's good for district-wise anyway for Warsaw as well. As you look at that district, they're in the Class 2 District 5. Lamar is in that district. Going into tonight, Lamar was in first. They lost, so they're now 3-2 on the season. Stockton was right now seated second. They win, so they're 4-1. Warsaw was 4-0 coming in. They're 5-0, so they may jump Stockton, and they might jump Lamar. El Dorado Springs is just behind Warsaw. Of course, they lost. Sarcoxy was behind them, and then Pleasant Hope and Diamond. And Diamond was defeated tonight by Marionville rather handedly. Just running through some scores as they come through here out of the bullpen. Charleston over Portageville, 34-12. St. Vincent defeats Hayti, 35-0. Gateway over Crystal City, 41-0. Bowling Green shuts out Louisiana, 59-0. Marceline over Maysville, 21-13. Brookfield defeats Putnam County, 50-14. Mountain Grove shuts out Kabul, 54-0. And Sarcoxy defeats El Dorado Springs, 50-35. Checking on other scores. So we mentioned Liberty North over Ray-Pec, 59-0. It was Lafayette over Pattonville in the fourth quarter, 37-0. Kearney defeats North Kansas City, 4-3-6. Marquette over Hazelwood Central, 28-6. It was Platte County at last report leading Belton, 42-7. And let me just check here real quick. Troy Buchanan defeats Howell Central 44-16. In the fourth quarter, New Heights Christian in Appleton City was 50-48. New Heights Christian on top. Also in the fourth quarter, Wright City 34, Mark Twain 20. Final scores: Windsor defeats Lincoln 38-6. At the half, Liberty was on top of Willow Springs, 28-0. Carthage defeats Willard 49-14. West Plains on top of Logan Rogersville 41-7 in the fourth. Elsewhere, final, Webb City comes back and defeats Neosho 35-28. In the fourth quarter, Van Far leads Montgomery County 28-7. And South Harrison and Trenton are now in overtime, tied at 28. In the fourth quarter, Tipton was on top of Harrisburg 24-20. Got the forfeit there. Soldan gets a victory. In the fourth quarter, Sullivan on top of Pacific 28-14. Also in the fourth, Stanberry leads Princeton 42-36. Final score, St. Pius, the 10th out of Kansas City, defeats Chillicothe 64-0, and they've been on a roll. St. Pius, the 10th out of Festus, is leading St. James in the fourth quarter 23-6. Also in the fourth quarter, Worth County on top of St. Joseph's Christian 22-18. Final score, St. Clair defeats Union 41-7. In the fourth quarter, Hickman was on top of Smith Cotton 35-14. Final score, Seckman defeats Oakville 30-0. In the fourth quarter, Schuyler County on top of Knox County 62-44. In the fourth quarter, Salisbury leads Scotland County 30-0. In the fourth quarter, Rolla on top of North County 20-17. In the fourth quarter, Rockwood Summit leads Fox 38-14. In the fourth quarter, Stratford has come back and they've taken the lead on Reed Spring 28-26. Final score, Green Valley shuts out Raytown South 47-0. Polo defeats Milan 10-7. Plattsburgh over Kansas City East Christian 74-28. We're joined now by Forsyth head football coach Chris Conley. Coach Conley, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad to be on the show.
Coach, you had a big win tonight over Springfield Catholic. Tell us a little bit about the ballgame.
Yeah, first of all, I want to really appreciate the boys. We kind of had a letdown last week. Not to take anything away from Clever. We kind of let down, and the boys really responded really, really well this week, and they played really, really clean, especially up front. But we kind of, they kind of came out a little bit different formation than kind of we expected a little bit. Kind of had a big play on us, and then they ended up getting a field goal. Catholic had the lead, but boys really played clean after that.
Tell us about some of the young men that really stood out for you tonight on both sides of the ball.
Oh, absolutely. First of all, our offensive line did really, really well. Jarrett Walls up front, Braden Loxton up front, Bob Jackson up front, and then Drake Blackstock and Ryder Fisher. Did a really, really good job for us, man. They did an awesome job up front, creating holes and movement and everything. So really, really proud of them. And then the boys who ran the ball really, really well. Raleigh Fisher had 3 touchdowns. Braxton Gross had 2 touchdowns. And then Tamarcus Holmes and Clay Muller both had an extra touchdown. So it was a good team game and played really, really well.
Coach, what do you feel like at this point of the season? Now you're 3-2. What do you feel like you're doing really well, and maybe what's an area or two where you got to kind of shore up as you get here to the last half of the season?
Sure, I'd say a little bit of pass protection. I think could improve and whatnot. I think we're playing defense at a really high level. Even last week, even in the loss, we outgained them 422 to 248. It was just kind of a tricky game, but playing really good defense right now and whatnot. So I think a little bit of pass protection and whatnot, but.
Outstanding. You come out of tonight's game relatively healthy?
Yeah, we did. We did.
We did.
Typical football, bumps and bruises, but nothing crazy.
You're at Reed Springs next week. What do you know about the Wolves?
Yeah, seen a little bit of film on them. Prepping for Catholic. They do a really good job on defense. They're very big. They're very physical. Their quarterback's a good athlete. Runs hard, and then they has a big arm. So, we're fullback runs hard. So, we're going to come ready to play. They do a really good job up there, playing really, really good defense and kind of testing your toughness on offense.
Coach, what's it been like with the kind of the new conference here this year as you guys going into the mid-leagues? What's that been like? Maybe getting to see some teams you haven't seen in the past.
Yeah, I think our kids are excited about that. We got to play Hollister for the first time at the varsity level, since both of us are fairly new programs, that was exciting. Our kids have been looking forward to that, we have a pretty good rivalry in all sports. You throw the records out the window. It's always a heck of a game, and whatnot. So it was cool to have that in football finally. Our boys were excited, and I know they were excited too. But I think it's good. Added a lot of depth and strength to the conference. So I think it's definitely a good deal that we got that going on.
Outstanding. Well, Coach, I greatly appreciate you being generous with your time here tonight on Friday Night Live, the high school football scoreboard show for the state of Missouri. And best of luck here as you go forward, and hopefully we'll get to visit again.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thanks for having me on here. And like I said, let's talk about our boys and football. And then a huge shout out to Coach Bailey and the rest of the defense. Like I said, they came out in a little different formation, something that we really hadn't prepared for. And the boys, man, they played hard, played fast, played physical. So.
All right. Well, Coach, you have a good evening. Enjoy this one, and we'll visit with you soon, I hope.
Yeah, sure thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Forsyth head football coach Chris Conley. They're kind enough to join us. We've reached out to a few coaches here. We are going to, at this point, take a quick timeout and give it back to the sponsors who, without them, we wouldn't be able to do this. And as always, hey, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow. And we'll be right back here on Friday Night Live on the Missouri Sports Network.
I'll have the avocado toast minus the avocado.
So, toast.
Yeah. Everything is so expensive these days.
Hey, Chevy gets it. That's why they're keeping prices down to earth, like on the most affordable EV in America. A super strong and capable Chevy truck.
And a high-tech Chevy SUV.
Why is Chevy making affordable vehicles connected by OnStar? It's so together we can do more.
We believe banking should make your life greater. It starts with affordable options to meet today's needs and tomorrow's dreams. From smart account options that fit your style to flexible loans for what comes next. It means convenient ways to access and manage your money whenever you need it and wherever you're headed. Most of all, it takes great support. Someone you can count on for trusted guidance and to be there for you every step of the way. Great options, great convenience, great support. For life. Great Southern Bank. Understanding what really matters.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool. On the field. Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends. Yeah! Be great.
Participate! Hey, welcome back to Friday Night Live here on the Missouri Sports Network. Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Certainly glad that you've tuned in. And as always, Lyona Labor's Local 663 remind us, hey, drive safely in those work zones. Those folks want to go home to their families as well. 10:05 is your time here. About 10:10, we'll be visiting with Aaron Fritz, head coach at Mid Buchanan, as they go to 5-0 as well on the season. And he's been on before, but that was back in week 1. So we'll try and get him back on. We've reached out to Maryville head coach Peyton Grubbs, as well as Mount Grove's head coach Dan Swafford. So hopefully we'll get to visit with some of those coaches here as we go on. Let's just run through the scores that we have at this time. You go to scoreboardguy.net, or actually just click on the scoreboard. Go to MissouriSportsNetwork.com, click on the scoreboard. All the scores will be right there. We'll be updating them throughout the evening and into tomorrow, as there are games going on tomorrow as well. We'll run through those for you here in a minute as well. But first off, from last night, it was Hazelwood East over Parkway North, 7-0. Jefferson defeats Bayless 35-26. Still don't have a score from Afton and Jennings. So, and we've looked. But that game was supposed to have taken place last night. Afton is actually my father's high school that he attended. Kickapoo over Glendale 27-14. Ava defeats Salem 60-18. We did reach out and visit a little bit with Casey Merrifield at Ava, but he was unfortunately not going to be in an area where he got a shell signal, so he was unable to join us. And we also reached out to Kickapoo head coach Nate Thomas, and his daughter is celebrating a birthday, so he was going to be spending that time with her at a birthday party tonight. So, or else I know he would have called in as well. That Kickapoo Glendale game is always a big rivalry. On the Bambinos, 8-man football scoreboard from tonight. It was Albany over North Andrew, 38-20. DeKalb defeats Stewartsville, 52-14. Drexel over Rich Hill, 58-22. It was Liberal over Jasper, 54-20. North Shelby defeats Paris, 52-14. Bramer over Northwest, 36-26. And earlier this season, the Bramer quarterback threw for his 200th touchdown. So trying to get him on too as part of our Athletes of the Week. Lockwood over Osceola, 59-12. Schuyler County defeats Knox County, 62-44. Worth County over St. Joe Christian, 22-18. Princeton defeats Stanberry, 44-22. Page 2. Adrian over Butler, 32-0. It was Bowling Green over Louisiana, 59-0. Brookfield defeats Putnam County, 50-14. So Mountain Grove over Kabul, 54-0. Charleston defeats Portageville, 34-12. Marionville over Diamond, I think that was 56-9 or 8, I believe. But Maryville wins. Oh, it was 52-16. I'm sorry. Gateway over Crystal City, 41-0. Fayette defeats Lynn, 60-6. Scott City over Malden, 34-20. Marceline defeats Maysville, 21-13. Penny over North Platte, 41-7. Milan falls to Polo, 10-7. North Callaway over Palmyra, 18-12. Fairgrove defeats Clever, 61-21. Monroe City over Clark County, 24-6. And Mount Vernon gets a victory over Lamar, 42-32. We're visiting now with the head coach from Mid Buchanan, Aaron Fritz, and on an occasion of being 5-0. Coach, hey, thanks for joining us.
John, I couldn't hear you, buddy. We're on the bus right now, so can you repeat that, please?
I said, hey, we're joined now by Aaron Fritz, the head coach at Mid Buchanan. What's it feel like to be 5-0?
Well, I mean, it's great, man. It's always good to win. Winning's hard. You're always proud of the kids when you do it, but man, we did a lot of bad things tonight. I'm very interested to watch the film to see if it felt as bad as it felt times during the game. But man, we had some stretches where we played well. And, once again, I'm just proud of our kids because winning's hard.
Coach, talk about some of the young men who stood out for you tonight.
Well, early on, we did a great job on the first play. I thought McGinnis and Brooks and Minery and Hanks and Sumner did a great job on the first play. We dang near scored on it on a quarterback run, and Riggs did a good job running the ball. But those guys up front did a great job of getting the egg steal, and Xander Brown too. I mean, those guys did great, and that really set the tone for the start of the game because we scored really quickly, got the ball back, went down, scored again, and when you get up 14-0 like that, it really sets the tone for the game. I was really proud of those guys up front on both sides of the ball because Lawson's big and physical, and it's just always a challenge to play there.
Coach, did you come out of tonight's game relatively healthy?
No, we did not. Our quarterback, we lost him in the third quarter. It's kind of a high ankle sprain, I think, so it's kind of annoying. He kept trying to play, but it wasn't the same. our freshman who we're trying to get more time. He's a really good football player. Plays some running back and kick returner and receiver and stuff. And he got rolled up on too and has repeated the ankle sprain that he missed 4 weeks with earlier this year for high ankle sprain. So not a great night in terms of injury for us.
Well, I hate to hear that with young men who are going to be out a little bit. But, Coach, you've got Lathrop. You're in the middle of, or you're kind of at the beginning of a 3-game road trip, so to speak. What do you know about Lathrop?
Honestly, not a lot. We saw them on film after the first game because they played Lexington, who we played too. But other than that, I really haven't seen them cross over on any film. I know they're well coached. I'm a good friends with Coach Creason over there, Coach McNeely and those guys, and they're great coaches, and I know they'll have them ready. But they're playing on the road's hard, and the KCI is a tough conference, so we're going to have to do a good job of scouting as coaches, work all weekend, and get the kids on board to watch some film so we can get ready next week and see what happens.
Coach, talk a little bit about your conference. Who is in it, and has it changed? I know a lot of conferences over the entire state of Missouri have really went through some changes. Has yours changed? And if so, who's in it? And even if not, who's in it?
Yeah, it's us and East Buchanan and North Platte and West Platte, Plattsburgh. But they play 8-man right now, but they're going to come wandering back, it sounds like, to 11-man next year. And then Hamilton, Lawson, and Lathrop. And we've not added anybody, we've not lost anybody necessarily. Like I said, Plattsburgh went to 8-man last year. That's a whole different story. But, yeah, it's tough, man. Year in and year out, one of our teams in our conference compete for a state title, I think, every year since, 2012, we've had somebody in the state semis, so it's a really good conference.
Coach, at what point do you kind of start taking a sneak peek at the district standings? And right now, you're sitting atop that district. What do you start kind of looking at that and seeing what do you have to do to maintain the top of that, where you're going to have a home field advantage throughout?
Well, I mean, just keep winning. It takes care of itself. I mean, I know what seed we are right now in the district standings, but that point system takes somebody from NASA, I think, to figure it out ahead of time. We just know if we keep winning, it'll take care of itself wherever we land. We're going to go out and try to play our best, and no matter who's in front of us, if we go out and play our best, that's all we need to do, and everything else will kind of play out how it may.
Well, I'd say, Coach, I greatly appreciate you being generous with your time, and we've got a rule, that once you're on the show 3 times, you're a friend of the show, so you are officially a friend of the show, and I greatly appreciate you being part of it.
Hey, appreciate you too, brother, and let me know when you get back up this way. Let's get that show going again and go eat dinner together. I enjoyed that.
All right, very good, Coach. I appreciate it. Hey, have a safe trip home.
Thanks, Coach. We'll see you.
All right, bye-bye. Aaron Fritz, the head football coach of Mid Buchanan, kind enough to join us, and they are sitting atop their district right now at 5-0, but Brookfield is right behind them. Brookfield is also 5-0 in the point system. Mid Buchanan is at 47.38, and Brookfield is at 45.94, so not quite 2 points behind them. Mid Buchanan has scored 190 points and given up 40 on the season, so their average score is 38-8, while Brookfield has scored 247 points on the season and given up 48. Their average score per game is 49.5 to 9.5. Certainly glad that you have tuned in. Did mention Webb City gets a win after 3 consecutive losses, and that I don't know they had lost 3 in a row in the last probably 25 years, but they get a come from behind win over Neosho, who's really playing well this season. And Mount Vernon gets their first win over Lamar, and it probably has to be a decade or better, probably 15 years since Mount Vernon has defeated Lamar, but they come out on top 42-32. Big night from quarterback Johnston, as he at one point had 23 pass completions for 293 yards and a couple of touchdowns. So Mount Vernon doing it through the air. And they've got Dotson on the ground as well, who's the all-time leading rusher in Mount Vernon history, a career rusher there in the Dotson kid. But so we'll look at some of the scores here one more time here. as we are heading towards another break, we will be joined at 10:30 by Mountain Grove head football coach Dan Swafford in his first year there at Mountain Grove as they get a big win tonight as well. We'll be talking to him at 10:30. Let's run through the scores that we have them at this point. We've mentioned North Callaway over Palmyra as 18-12. Fair Grove defeats Clever 61-21. Herman over Owensville 41-6. Monroe City defeats Clark County 24-6. Elsewhere, it was Nottoway Valley over Mound City 56-0. Washington shuts out Central out of Kansas City 60-0. Warsaw 42-0 over Versailles. Savannah defeats Benton 53-6. It was Pleasant Hill over Warrensburg 21-14. Parkway South defeats Northwest 28-7. Parkway West over Parkway Central 35-0. Liberty North shuts out Raypeg 59-0. It was Lafayette over Pattonville 47-7. Kearney defeats North Kansas City 43-6. Was Ladue over Hazelwood West 17-13. Marquette over Hazelwood Central 28-6. At last report, Black County was on top of Belton 42-7 late in the fourth. We will assume they won that game. Troy Buchanan defeats Hal Central 44-16. Blue Springs South over Staley 43-14. Was Appleton City over New Heights Christian 54-50. Wright City defeats Mark Twain 34-20. Holt over Winfield 47-7. Was Windsor defeating Lincoln 38-6. Liberty Mountain View shuts out Willow Springs 50-0. Was Carthage 49-14 over Willard. Father Tolton defeats West Platte 63-35. West Plains over Logan Rogersville 41-7. Was Webb City over Neosho 34-28. Washington 38-14 over Fort Zumwalt South. Was Warrenton over St. Charles West 42-14. Van Far defeats Montgomery County 34-7. Van Horn over Lincoln 23-6. Valley Catholic defeats Caruthersville 37-7. Still don't have an overtime final between South Harrison and Trenton. It was 28-28 in the first overtime. Harrisburg and Tipton are now tied at 38 late in the fourth. Sullivan defeats Pacific 28-14. Princeton over Stanberry, my apologies, 44-42. St. Pius X out of Kansas City defeats Chillicothe 64-0. With St. Pius X out of Festus defeating St. James 23-6. Worth County over St. Joe Christian 22-18. St. Clair defeats Union 41-7. Hickman over Smith Cotton 42-22. Sherwood defeats Pleasant Hope 52-12. Was Seckman over Oakville 30-0. Schuyler County defeats Knox County 62-44. It was Sarcoxie 50, Randall Springs 35. Salisbury over Scotland County 32-0. North County comes back and they defeat Rolla 24-20. Rockwood Summit at last report was leading Fox 38-14. Stratford comes back, they defeat Reese Spring 35-26. Grain Valley shuts out Raytown South 47-0. Fredericktown over Potosi 12-0. Polo defeats Milan 10-7. Plattsburgh over Kansas City East Christian 74-28. Pierce City defeating Skyline 49-12. Perryville over Grandview 32-0. North Callaway defeats Palmyra 18-12. Herman over Owensville, 41-6. Lockwood over Osceola, 59-12. Concordia over Oric, 55-6. And in the fourth quarter, Oak Grove was on top of Clinton, 33-12. Just gone final, 3 overtimes. Central Park Hills defeats St. Genevieve 40-34 in 3 overtimes. Jackson Jones gets the winning touchdown run in that contest. Bramer over Northwest 36-20. Manhattan out of Kansas defeats Northland Christian out of Kansas City 50-8. North Shelby over Paris 52-14. Penny defeats North Platte 41-7. Nevada over East Newton 28-7. Monette comes back. They defeat McDonald County 40-27. Marceline over Maysville 21-13. Scott City defeats Malden 34-0. It was Centralia over Macon 38-14. Lutheran North over Lutheran South 80-0. Lone Jack over Cole Camp 38-26. It was Liberal over Jasper 54-20. Holden defeats Lexington 22-0. Lee Summit over Lee Summit West 45-10. Blue Springs over Lee Summit North 68-39. Nixa defeats Lebanon 56-12. East Buchanan over Lathrop 63-19. Mount Vernon, as I mentioned, over Lamar 42-32. Lafayette County defeats Richmond 70-28. Summit Christian over Lafayette St. Joe 52-15. Eureka defeats Kirkwood 14-10. Elsewhere, King City over Pattonsburg 50-8. Slater defeats Keatsville 84-0. Republic hangs on as they defeat Joplin 49-38. That game went final just as we went on the air. Jackson over Poplar Bluff 57-9. Was Buffalo over Hollister 44-22. Festus defeats Hillsboro 14-7. South Shelby over Highland 42-8. St. Vincent defeats Hayti 35-0. Harrisonville defeats Cassville 13-7. Hannibal over Mexico 40-0. Gateway defeats Crystal City 41-0. It was Westran over Gallatin 44-15. Timberland defeats Howell North, Francis Howell North 47-0. Forsyth over Springfield Catholic 48-9. Farmington over Sykeston 45-6. Smithville defeats Excelsior Springs 42-7. It was Hallsville over Eldon 38-29. And elsewhere, it was Drexel over Rich Hill 58-22. So loading, see if we've got any more finals. DeKalb over Stewartsville 52-14. DeSmet defeats Vianney 62-14. Cuba over Herculaneum 30-6. Charleston over Portageville 34-12. Principia defeats Chaffee 14-6. Liberty over St. Joe Central 62-34. Stockton defeats Central 34-7. As I mentioned, Park Hill Central in 3 overtimes defeats St. Genevieve 40-34. Cape Central shuts out St. Dominic 47-0. Knob-Noster over Carrollton 48-6. Carl Junction defeats Hillcrest 42-13. It was Maryville over Cameron 44-6. Mount Grove 54-0 over Kabul. Brookfield defeats Putnam County 50-14. Branson, I believe they're 5-0 as well. They defeat Parkview 55-6. Bowling Green shuts out Louisiana 59-0. Bolivar defeats Marshfield, I believe it was 47-14. Archie over Bishop LeBlanc 38-14. Camdenton shuts out Battle 20-0. Seneca defeats Aurora 56-14. Albany over North Andrew 38-20. Adrian shuts out Butler 32-0. Rockbridge gets a big win over a very good Elias team 28-22. Fayette over Lynn 60-6. Capital City over Jeff City 49-7. Blair Oak shuts out Boonville 62-0. Mid Buchanan 34-6 over Lawson. Howe out of St. Charles, they defeat Fort Zumwalt West 17-10. Fairgrove over Clever 61-21. Monroe City defeats Clark County 24-6. CBC shuts out Slough 41-0. California over New Franklin 8-0. I'm sorry, that was girls softball. So forget that score. But it was a girls softball score. New Franklin does defeat California. Or California defeats New Franklin 8-0 in girls softball. And in softball, Rockbridge defeats Green Valley 11-5. We're waiting now. The Mountain Grove head coach, Dan Swafford, as they get a big win tonight as well. And we're going to check on their record at Mountain Grove. Coach Swafford is in his first year there. He spent some time, longtime coach at Ava, and then spent some time here most recently on the Evangel football coaching staff. But they are 2-3 on the season, but they've won 2 in a row via the shutout, 37-0 and 54-0. They are 2-3 on the season. They're a member of the Class 3 District 5, and you look at that district that Mountain Grove is in, and it is spread out. It goes all the way from Mount Vernon all the way to Cuba. So it's Stratford right now is sitting atop that district at 5-0. Mount Vernon is 4-1 and in second place. Cuba, I'm not sure what they did tonight. St. James is in fourth. Mountain Grove right now in fifth at 2-3. Their game tonight has been reported. There, Buffalo is 1-4 and Salem is 0-5 on the season. So we look forward to, and we welcome to the show now Mountain Grove head football coach Dan Swafford. Coach Swafford, thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me.
Coach, a big win tonight to get back-to-back shutout wins. Tell us about tonight's game, 54-0 over Kabul.
Well, it was just a game of two towns that are right next to each other, and so it's always a rivalry. My kids came out and played well, came right out of the gates and just went down and scored a couple times, and so it just kind of gave us a lot of momentum, and we were able to do what we do, and kids were very physical. And so I was just happy with our execution and the competitiveness of our team. And that's just kind of how it went, Guy. It wasn't, I don't have a big, long story. We just played solid football tonight.
Coach, talk about what you feel like you're doing really well right now. This is your first year there at Mountain Grove. You're not unfamiliar with that conference. What are some things that you're doing well right now, and maybe some things that you got to shore up here as you head into districts?
Oh yeah, we got plenty to shore up. That's for sure. But with that said, kids are, they're playing hard and they're competing. They're playing physical, and so that's the best thing we're doing. Our defensive squad is just, they're just doing things that they need to do to keep people out of the end zone and just playing hard-nosed football. That's the best thing we're doing right now. Now, offensively, we've still got some things to work out. And although I do see progress, we still have a long ways to go there. And just executing, what we do and the flex bone and that type of thing. It just takes time, and we got guys that are, learning the whole system, and they get better every week, but, we still have a long ways to go.
Coach, did you come out of tonight's contest relatively healthy other than just normal football, bumps and bruises?
Yeah, we did all right. We did all right. We had, most of our kids just played a half, and so we didn't risk that situation, because it's always an issue in high school football, especially small town USA. And you gotta be careful with that. And you want those kids to get better, but you also want them for the next big game you have.
Coach, what's it like going back into that conference in a different school?
Well, you know what? It's different, and it's a place. Well, I'm from Mountain Grove, so it's home to me. But I have lots of roots here, and I know a lot of players and coaches from different towns. And man, I just it's neat being back in high school football. It's my passion. It's what I do, and I enjoy doing that. One of the great things about this area is football's important, and it doesn't make any difference if you got guys that are 0-10 or 10-0. Man, those communities, it's important to them that you represent them well. Mountain Grove's a football town, and they want you winning, and so we're trying our best to keep them happy, and I want to please them, and I know that these boys want to do that too. But we also know that it's such a process in building a program to where you want it. Hey, there was already a good foundation here, so it's nothing like that. It's not something I'm just coming up with. I think God just put me here to keep it going, and that's what we're going to do. Is we're just going to keep working hard.
Coach, you've got a Liberty Mountain View team next week who is. I'm not sure what they did tonight, but they were 3-1 going into tonight. What do you know about them, and are they still similar to what you remember?
Yes. Oh, yes. They're, they do what they do, and they run the ball well. They pass the ball well. They're very athletic, and they're very physical, and they do things good there. They came away with a win, and they've got a good squad, and they had a big win last week when they beat Ava. And so, man, it's going to be we're looking forward to that game with them, because it's a big game. We just got beat by Ava, and it was a great ball game. It came right down to the end, but man, they just got us. But the next week they were able to get them. So, it gave us a chance for a possible conference title or a share of that title. And so, we're just going to get ready for them and, make that a great night of football. Man, I love being in that big game. That's a passion that I have. Man, I just love seeing those kids compete, and the communities are, rooting for each other, and it'll be a good one.
When your wardrobe changed, did your rivals change, or are they still the same?
Well, you got your community rivals, and then you got your personal rivals. And so, at Mountain Grove here, we're everybody's rival, and always have been. When I went to high school here, everybody wanted to beat us. And when I wasn't coaching against them, I wanted to beat them. So it's one of those things. We know we're going to get everybody's best, and now it's our job is to produce a great product and do the best we can each week, play as hard as we can, execute the best we can, and just go have fun. And so rivalries, every week's my rival. Whoever we're playing, that's the rival I have. And so, we're going to go down and we're going to try to find another win. That's the next goal.
I know what you're going to be doing tomorrow. You're going to be paying attention to that Evangel game.
I will. I'll be driving to Ottawa, Kansas, and watching those boys play. Man, I love watching my son play. I love watching all those guys. I mean, they're all kind of like they became my kids too, you know. And I love going there, and they just I hear somebody from the field, hey, there's Coach Swafford. You know, I love that, giving hugs and high fives and stuff. And they got a great program, and Coach Heplin and the guys there do a great job of coaching. And so, yeah, we'll be rooting them on. That's for sure.
What was it like last weekend to sit through the rain delay, and then just have to go home and not get to play?
Well, it's not good. At least we wasn't, 7 or 8 hours away. I've been in that situation a couple of years ago. We went up to Iowa and played a game where that did happen, and it's tough. But no, it's one of those things. It just happens. You know, there's nothing you can do about it.
Very good. Well, Coach Swafford, as always, it's good to catch up with you. I used to kind of hang around the Evangel office there when you were there and visit with Coach Heppel a little bit. And, always look forward to visiting with you. But congratulations on the win. And really over the last 2 weeks, you had a rough start, but you played really good teams.
Yes, we did. Yeah, it's a tough 3 weeks. It really was. And we're battle tested, because of that. And, it's hard to go through, but you know that when you go through that, you'll come out on the other side a better team. You'd love to get a win or two, but we did. But you know what? We're going to just keep on trying.
At what point, during the season, you kind of start peeking at those district standings, and you guys have got a kind of a screwy district going all the way from Mount Vernon to what Cuba. That's a big district area-wise.
Well, it is, and then, the state of Missouri, how they do that, and they have their own little ways about doing things, and it is what it is, and we're happy to be in what we are, and what we're going to be facing, and so, we just want to go into that situation with a pop in our step, one of the things I think is important for every program is when they hit that district, they're hitting on all cylinders, and they want to keep it going. They want to keep playing it, and they're playing their best football. And my challenge is to get these boys playing the best they can at that point, and keep them going with a lot of energy and desire to want to just get better every weekend into week 10 and week 11. If you just do that, good things are going to happen to you. It just is. And so we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, I was visiting with Coach Cox at Mount Vernon, who I actually played for in high school, and he told me, he said, "Guy, we've not played any of those teams in our history here at Mount Vernon." So it's going to be fun to see some new locations and new teams that you haven't seen before.
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely that's always fun. I think that's fun when you get to see those new schools, and they get to see you and you visit new places. I think it keeps it interesting for everybody.
It does indeed. Well, Coach Swafford, as always, it's always great to visit with you, and I hope to do it several more times this year.
Sounds good.
All right, Coach. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for what you do for high school football.
You bet. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
All right. Coach Dan Swafford, they're kind enough to join us, and you look at that district, and it's nuts in there, and some great coaches. I mean, Coach Swafford, Coach Cox, Tim Hester at Stratford. I mean, you're talking about Hall of Fame type coaches, and I did play for Coach Cox. He's been at Mount Vernon in 2 different stints now, an awful long time, and glad to see Coach Swafford enjoying it and getting back into it. He's good for kids and good for people, and he's a good person, and I always enjoy visiting with him. You're listening to Friday Night Live here on the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. We're going to take a time out here, and we'll come back. We'll run through the scores one more time. But before we do, I know there's a lot of folks here, eyeballs on us right now. hey, send us a message. Tell us where you're listening from. Tell us what game you attended. You can do that on chat, right through YouTube, right through Facebook, right on our Twitter. It'll pop up right here on our screen. We'll give you a shout out, and we will let you know that we're paying attention. You just go right to the chat and type it up, and we will mention it. Or I guess I should say I will mention it. I'm the only one here. Just me right here. I've got Kent and Coach Archer in the bullpen feeding me scores and working away. Hey, we'll take a quick timeout, and we'll be back after these messages from our sponsors.
In the heart of Springfield on historic Walnut Street, just blocks away from the Missouri State campus, Hammons Field, Great Southern Arena, and downtown Springfield. The Walnut Street Inn features newly remodeled rooms, breakfast served daily, and a friendly, accommodating staff. The Walnut Street Inn is also a great venue for private events. Book your stay or get more information at walnutstreetinn.com or call 417-864-6346.
Imagine a bank that goes where you go, creating seamless solutions for every step in your financial journey, allowing you to manage your money the way you want to, with a banking relationship that makes every day extraordinary. Imagine a world full of possibilities, always within reach. Central Bank. We do banking better.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 290,000 participants here in Missouri who take part in high school sports or activities.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back to Friday Night Live here on the Missouri Sports Network. I'm Guy Newcomb, and been alongside here now. We're an hour and 15 minutes into the show, and we really appreciate the coaches that have called in. Hey, if you're out there and you'd like to be part of the show and you're a coach, hey, just give us a call. 417-327-6914, because chances are if you're a football coach, I've got your number in my phone. We'll run through the scores here one more time that we have at this time at MissouriSportsNetwork.com. And if we missed one, hey, send that to us too in the chat line. Or text it to me at that same number, 417-327-6914. On the scores from tonight, we'll here at scoreboardguy.net, we'll refresh this page and we'll run through those. We'll run through our score stream scores again and maybe check out some stuff on Misha. But first off, the scores from last night: Hazelwood East over Parkway North, 7-0. It was Jefferson over Bayless, 35-26. Kickapoo defeats Glendale on homecoming, 27-14. It was Ava over Salem, 60-18. Rockport defeats South Holt, 68-20. Platte Valley defeats Tarkio, 56-26. On the 8-man football scoreboard from tonight, it was Albany over North Andrew, 38-20. Archie defeats Bishop LeBlanc, 38-14. DeKalb over Stewartsville, 52-14. Drexel defeats Rich Hill, 58-22. Slater over Keatsville, 84-20. King City over Pattonsburg, 50-8. Liberal defeats Jasper, 54-20. Appleton City over New Heights Christian, 54-50. Nottoway Holt over Mound City, 56-6. North Shelby defeats Paris 52-14. Again, these are 8-man scores from tonight. Bramer 36-26 over Northwest. Concordia defeats Oric 55-6. Lockwood over Osceola 59-12. Plattsburgh defeats East Kansas City 74-28. St. Paul Lutheran over Santa Fe 33-8. Schuyler County defeats Knox County 62-44. Was Hardin Central over Southwest 86-16. Worth County over St. Joe Christian 22-8. Princeton defeats Stanberry 44-42. Wellington Napoleon over Sweet Springs 54-38. And West Nottoway defeats Mound City 56-6. Here on page 1, brought to you by the Bank of Billings. The Bank of Billings established in 1889, the oldest bank in Christian County. Also presented by Dope Propane. Dope Propane located in Bolivar, Missouri. For all your propane needs in Polk County and surrounding counties, see the folks at Dope. Adrian over Butler 32-0. Bowling Green defeats Louisiana 59-0. It was Brookfield over Putnam County 50-14. Mount Grove defeats Kabul 54-50. Principia over Chaffee 14-6. Charleston defeats Portageville 34-12. It was West Strand over Gallatin 44-15. Gateway defeats Crystal City 41-0. St. Vincent over Hayti 35-0. Fayette over Lynn 60-6. Lone Jack defeats Colcamp 38-26. Scott City over Malden 34-20. Marceline defeats Maysville 21-13. Still waiting on the score from Ash Grove and Miller. Was Penny over North Platte 41-7. I've got a buddy who was actually at that Miller Ash Grove game, so if he's listening, hey, shoot me a text. Give me that final. Pierce City over Skyline 49-12. Polo over Milan 10-7. South Callaway defeats Russellville 45-20. Salisbury over Scotland County 32-0. And we've got a final from Ash Grove. It was Ash Grove 28-22 over Miller. Elsewhere, Van Far over Montgomery County 34-7. Windsor defeats Lincoln 38-6. Page 2, brought to you by Central Bank of the Ozarks. Knob-Noster 48-6 over Carrollton. Stockton defeats Springfield Central 34-7. Monroe City over Clark County 24-6. Fair Grove defeats Clever 61-21. Forsyth over Springfield Catholic 48-9. Was South Shelby over Highland 42-8. Lafayette County defeats Richmond 70-20. Mount Vernon over Lamar 42-32. East Buchanan defeats Lathrop 63-19. Was Mid Buchanan over Lawson 34-6. Holden defeats Lexington 22-0. Centralia over Macon 38-14. Herman over Owensville 41-6. North Callaway defeats Palmyra 18-12. Perryville over Grandview 32-0. Sarcoxy over El Dorado Springs 50-35. Sherwood defeats Pleasant Hope. St. Pius X out of Festus over St. James 23-6. Valley Catholic defeats Caruthersville 37-7. Warsaw shuts out Versailles 42-0. Mountain View Liberty shuts out Willow Springs 50-0. Wright City over Mark Twain 34-20. Seneca defeats Aurora 56-14. Savannah over Benton 53-6. Page 3. Presented by Lyona Labor's Local 663. Feel the power. And hey, drive safely in those work zones, folks. Those folks want to go home to their families as well. Blair Oaks shuts out Boonville 62-0. Maryville over Cameron 44-6. Odessa over Center 52-0. Park Hill Central in 3 overtimes defeats St. Genevieve 40-34. Herculaneum over Cuba 12-0. St. Teresa out of Illinois defeats Deschênes 22-15. Moberly over Fulton 49-6. Harrisonville defeats Cassville 13-7. Buffalo over Hollister 44-42. Summit Christian over St. Joe Lafayette 52-15. Lutheran in the north shuts out Lutheran South 80-0. Those guys must not go to the same Lutheran church. Nevada over East Newton 28-7. Oak Grove defeats Clinton 33-18. Fredericktown shuts out Potosi 12-0. Stratford over Reed Spring 35-26. Good win there for Tim Hester and the Stratford Indians. St. Clair over Union 41-7. St. Pius X over Chillicothe 64-0. Was Warrenton over St. Charles West 42-14. Holt defeats Winfield 47-7. Page 4. Brought to you by Great Southern Bank. Great Southern Bank with more than 100 locations in 6 states. Great Southern Bank, they care as much about your money as you do. And they understand what really matters. Great Southern Bank, member FDIC. Was Bolivar over Marshfield 47-13. Carl Junction defeats Hillcrest 42-13. It's DeSoto over Windsor 52-30. Smithfield defeats Excelsior Springs 42-7. Hannibal over Mexico 40-0. It's Kearney defeating North Kansas City 43-6. Monette over McDonald County 40-27. Green Valley defeats Raytown South 47-0. North County over Rolla 24-0. TW Prep forfeits to Soldan. Van Horn over Lincoln Prep 23-6. Pleasant Hill defeats Warrensburg 21-14. Washington over Fort Zumwalt South 38-14. West Plains defeats Rogersville 41-7. Page 5, brought to you by Silo Ridge Golf and Country Club. Hey, if you haven't had an opportunity to play at Silo Ridge, you need to take advantage of it. One of the nicest courses in the state of Missouri. Silo Ridge Golf and Country. Camdenton shuts out Battle 20-0. Branson goes to 5-0 as they defeat Parkview 55-6 on Branson's homecoming. Capital City defeats Jeff City 49-7. Cape Central over St. Dominic 47-0. Liberty defeats St. Joe Central 62-34. It was Francis Howell over Fort Zumwalt West 17-10. Jackson defeats Poplar Bluff 57-9. Republic in a great game with Joplin, but 49-38. And it was really back and forth. Republic pulled away there just towards the end. 49-38. Eureka over Kirkwood 14-10. Nixa defeats Lebanon 52-6. Lebanon on their opening drive, 17 plays, used up almost all of the first quarter and went up 6-0. Parkway South over Northwest 28-27. Parkway West defeats Parkway Central 35-0. Lafayette defeats Pattonville 47-7. And Carthage defeats Willard 49-14. Page 6, brought to you by the Bank of Billings. The Bank of Billings, established in 1889, the oldest bank in Christian County. With CBC defeating SLU 41-0, but probably the first final we had today. DeSmet over Vianney 62-14. Troy Buchanan over Francis House Central 44-16. Lee Summit North over Blue Springs 44-12. Marquette defeats Hazelwood Central 28-6. Seckman over Oakville 30-0. And Ozark defeats Waynesville 27-19. Saturday schedule is as follows. Thayer will be at Houston. MICDS will be at John Burroughs. St. Michael will be at KIPP Legacy, Kansas City. McClure North will be at McClure. Lutheran St. Charles will be at Miller Career. Normandy will be at Riverview Gardens. St. Francis Borgia will be at Roosevelt. Pembroke Hill will be at University Academy. Priory will be at Westminster Christian. Kennett will be at East Prairie. And Southern Boone will be at Dexter. Hope everyone is being safe out there tonight. Don't matter where you've been listening to us from. Hey, we appreciate it. Got up over 600 live viewers here on Restream and about, I think, almost 20,000 impressions on Twitter thus far this evening. You can hear a replay of this show in the morning, or you can go directly to our YouTube page and replay it anytime you want to. And hey, when you go to the YouTube page, subscribe. That way you'll know every time we have something new coming out. A special thanks to the coaches that were part of the show tonight. Andy Learman from Liberty North. Ryan Boyer making his first appearance from Warsaw High School. Chris Conley at Forsyth making his first appearance. Aaron Fritz from Mid Buchanan. And Coach Dan Swafford making his first appearance as the head coach at Mountain Grove. Thanks to everybody who's been involved tonight, to DA and Kent who are in the bullpen here watching and feeding me scores as well. Hey, remember, it just takes 3 seconds to put that seatbelt on. Don't put your car in drive before you put your seatbelt on. Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us, take that 3 seconds. It's 3 seconds that could save your life and has saved many lives throughout the entire country. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow. God bless everybody, and we will talk to you soon, right here on the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where you